Hey, 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 hikers and backpackers, through hikers, campers, and lovers of the wild. Are you ready to hit the trail? With your ears, that is. This is Toad Hikes, and I am your trail guide, Tony the Toe Goodrow. Bringing you stories, tips, and adventures from the trail to your ears. Before we lace up them boots and drive into today's trek, make sure you are following the journey. Subscribe to the podcast and find me on the socials. Facebook, Toad Hikes. Instagram, Toad_hikes. And YouTube at Toad Hikes. You can also email me at GoodrowsAdventures, GoodrowsAdventures at yahoo.com. Now let's get into it. Toad Hike starts now. Hey guys, guess who's back? That's right, Goodrow's Adventures. Or is it Goodrow's Adventures anymore? No, it is not. It is gonna be a name change. Let me get this open up first here. Oh, there we go. I had to open up my flavored water here, sparkling water. Yes, that's right. We is changing our name across all social medias and the podcast. I'm going to be changing it from Goodrow's Adventures to Toad Hikes. Now, if you don't know, my name is Tony Goodrow, and Goodrow is where Goodrow's Adventures came from. That started back in about 2008 when I was wanting to post all my hikes and all that on social media. And it started on Facebook way back in the day. Now, this is before like hiking influencers and all that was a big thing. I don't think hiking influencers really started kicking off on social media until between 2010 and 2015, right around there. But most of the big names that you see today, you really start seeing them pop up around 2014, 2015 on YouTube. Well, back in 2008, I was like, I'm going to start posting all my photos and stuff uh, of my hikes online on Facebook, right? So that's where I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna name it. Well, first I originally started just post uh, on my personal page, and I eventually decided to go create something totally separate from it, and I couldn't think of a name, and finally I just came out of nowhere with Goodrow's Adventures because at the time, not only was I as hiking, I was doing a lot of other type outdoor activities, snorkeling, kayaking, hiking, backpacking, uh, just anything and everything, parasailing, all that. And I was posting all that stuff. And so I was like, okay, Good Roads Adventures, that's going to be it. As the years went on from 2008 to 2015, I really did not pick up any followers at all, any subscribers, only some family, and then a couple friends. And I really, honestly, I think between those years, I only think I had like 10 followers. That's it. I did not pick up at all. So 2015, uh, I had a mental health crisis, attempted suicide, and was in the hospital for 17 days and all that. And when I got out, I was like, I'm just pretty much done with uh, all this stuff. And besides, I was not getting any followers. So I ended up deleting Goodrow's Adventures. And I was just like, no one was really following me. Done for, no more. Well, then, believe it or not, I actually picked up with hiking a lot more, doing a lot more activities, backpacking, all that stuff, buying a lot of gear. So I was like, let's give this an attempt again, because I was posting some of my hikes, not many pictures though, on my personal page. Once again, in 2016, started picking up more traction then, but maybe because that's where hiking influencers start were more of a thing then. So I created Good Roads Adventures again on Facebook and YouTube. Started posting all my stuff on there, and to this day, I really don't got no much followers. I think I only got like 160 something on Facebook, uh, 26 on YouTube, and not many on Instagram either. I cannot remember how many I got on Instagram. But I've been giving it some thought for the past year, even though I know my content is not the greatest content. Like this podcasting thing, it is new to me. I never thought I would do a podcast because I do not like speaking. But I gave it a try. I've been trying it out. I haven't really been posting much to the podcast like I should be. Um, I need to get more content, create more content for. Oh, sorry, I'm looking up to see how many followers I actually have on Instagram, which I know it ain't many. Yeah, 68 followers on Instagram. To get more out there. My pictures and stuff on Facebook and all that are not the best pictures. It's just normal out there, point, shoot, take the pictures, some videos and all that. Not much editing goes into it. When I get back home, I'll look at some of the duplicates, find a better duplicate, and all that, keep it. I don't go in and do all this editing on these pictures to give that nice, mystic, foggy look on the waterfalls and the rivers and stuff. I try to give it as much of a natural look as possible. And I know that's what's killing me because people, when they're scrolling through social media, they really look for those pictures that are just gorgeous. People taking several pictures and stitching them together, putting these changing just settings, and the settings really make the colors pop and all that. And I just don't do that. And I know that's a big reason why I'm not getting a lot of likes and follows. Um, I really all my stuff get the same 5 people that like it, and I just don't get no interaction. And I know that's why, because my content is not the greatest content out there. I tried making some funny skits and stuff. Those picked up no tractions. Just a bunch of stuff I've tried, and I'm just not getting no social media uh, traction going on out there. So I figured, won't we we'll drop Good Rose Adventures and go to Toad Hikes, since my trail name is Tony the Toad Goodrow, right? I got Toad, the trail name Toad, back in 1988, 89. Um, I was in a backpacking trip up and over the Olympic Mountains and stuff, and I was with a group, and one of the guys in the group, for some reason, could not remember my name, Tony. And when he tried saying it, for some reason, he just struggled with it. Um, so he started calling me Toad, and I was like, Toad? He was like, yeah. He's like, you're hopping from trail to trail to trail. You're in and out of the river, uh, and your name, Tony. I struggle with it. He was like, and you remind me of just like a frog, of a toad. He's like, so then everyone started calling me Toad out on trail. Well, that actually stuck with me throughout high school and all that stuff. The people that knew the story sometimes would you say it, but not many people, because I really didn't tell many people that story. Uh, but it did. And then when I got into the army, people, believe it or not, started calling me Toad in the army, which I was like, what a coincidence, right? So it's really stuck with me. Uh, my logo is of a frog. If you look at it, hiking, all that, the same picture and all that. I created all that myself. Um, and just used as Good Rose Adventures. But I decided to change it from Good Rose Adventures to Toad Hikes. So I figured my trail name, Toad, then Hikes, right? Another reason that I dropped Good Rose Adventures is when I would go to certain hiking groups on social media and all that under Good Rose Adventures, people aren't interacting with me. They won't say nothing to me. They won't accept me or anything in there because they would think I was a business. Now, yes, I was gearing Good Rose Adventures and the social media page on Facebook towards a business, because I thought about that a long time ago. I do guided hikes for beginners and stuff for groups, uh, and people come out of state for this. Um, but it really just was not giving me no traction. People would just ignore me because of that, 'cause they really thought I was just a business and not a person. So I'm hoping changing it to Toad Hikes will really help out with picking up some traction with other hikers, hiking groups, and all that stuff. Uh, I go on to like Justin Outdoors, Chase Mountains, Darwin in the Middle, Backpackers Radio, all them stuff, and a lot of people would ignore me. I would ask a question down in the comments on their live feeds, and they would always skip my question. They would answer the ones before or after me, and always get my. I could never figure it out. And they were legit hiking questions, especially about what the topic of conversation was about. But they would always ignore me, and to this day, I don't know why, but I'm thinking it's because they thought I was that just the name alone was probably a scam or a troll or a business or something. Not 100% sure why. So I'm hoping changing my name from Good Rose Adventures to Toad Hikes is going to help out. Uh, it looks like I've got a couple more likes than I usually would on my content on my last 2 day hikes I have done on the content I've posted. So I'm really hoping it really picks up. Plus, I want to start rebranding and start doing more with the podcast and with my social media, doing a lot of posting, maybe just posting like what these other big time influencers are doing of them just being out normal days out in the town or something like that. Maybe that will help out. But I know the big part is just my content. I really need to start getting some of these edited pictures out there, not just a point and shoot. Okay, I'm good to go. Start changing my settings and just start getting better content for you guys. With Toad Hikes on the podcast, I really need to get a lot more interviews. I need to do. I need a co-host. I 100% need a co-host. I have not came across a podcast yet where a single person, a solo person, does a great job. Talking about they got good content, uh, but I could tell the struggling and all that. And there's a couple podcasts out there of hikers I listen to, but the ones that have someone with them as a team and all that doing the podcast are standing out a lot more, doing a lot better, more topics, conversations, and it's great. And so I got to get that going on here. I really need to find someone. I'm gonna. I was supposed to Friday. I tried asking someone if they're what their Fridays evenings are good, if they're good for interviews and stuff. He didn't get back to me, so I'm gonna reach out to him this week and hopefully set something up and interview them. He's a photographer. We met in a hiking class. Great guy, and it's actually a whole group of guys. So I want to try to interview each one of them individually, and then maybe actually get them on a panel um, within the podcast itself. Now, with the podcast, I will have the normal audio section set up for the podcast. So wherever you're getting it, Spotify, Yahoo, um, actually, I don't think there exists anymore. So Amazon Music, YouTube Music, um, Pandora. The podcast will be on there. It will not be on Apple Music. 'Cause Apple Music's like you need to pay. I'm like I'm not paying. My podcast isn't that popular on Spotify. Once I start picking up more people, maybe I will put it on Apple. But as of right now, it's not. Um, Now, work schedule also is kind of killing me on creating content and really hitting the trail, uh, dedicating to the podcast, all that stuff. I do a hectic work schedule, and it's been hampering me. My job has been bought out by a new company, and they up my work hours and starting to hurt me physically. Really, just not be able to get in shape to put down long miles on the trail when I do get a chance. Because usually I go to the gym when I get off work, and I can't even do that no more. And I'm actually packing on the weight again, which sucks. Um, so I'm hope it's really starting to hamper me physically, mentally, and stuff, and it's ruining me getting out on trail. And so hopefully I get that stuff corrected. I'm going to sit down and talk to them here probably this week and say, hey, listen, I need a little bit more home life, mainly for the gym. The gym really helps me out uh, with mental health, and plus it allows me on the trail, which I love being on trail. It helps with my anxiety, my depression, all that stuff, and I just love it out there. It helps me relax and get away from daily life things. Um, on the video part of things, you can see I do this as a vlog too, so I rip the audio just for the podcast part, and then I keep the video part to post on YouTube and all that. But behind me, you could probably see I have the orange up, and let me move. There you go. It's mental hike for mental health, which is a great group, and I support them. So I got that up for them. And so if you sit on the video part, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm trying to. There we go. Maybe that will a little bit more right up there. So I got just really hit the shell. I'm going to get going on with stuff here. So with that being said, the future of the podcast is going to start picking up more. Hopefully, I start putting out a lot more content. I'm going to start getting interviews in there. Maybe I'll ask one of these guys in the group if they would want to be a co-host with me. I'm going to start interviewing more. I'm going to set up my gear on trailheads, talk to hikers, day hikers, weekend warriors, and the long trail hikers as well. I don't live too far from a couple access points at the PCT here in Washington State, so I'll definitely get up there at the trailheads and try to interview a lot of them. I'm hoping to really start picking up here within the next couple weeks to start producing a lot of content for you guys, and I'm hoping I start don't disappoint and my content gets a lot better. I'm excited for it. The weather's definitely picking up here in Washington, and I think I'm just gonna have to sacrifice sleep uh, to get this content and be on trail. I gotta be on trail. I love being on trail. Like I said, 1988 is just 2025 now, so that's how many years hiking I got. And yeah, people are gonna be like, "Well, I've never heard of you" and all that. But yeah, because people don't like talking to me for some reason. I'm actually a very friendly guy on trail, and I love having conversations. People just won't talk with me. I think it's because I wear the colors of looking like a forest ranger. It's just my favorite color. All that. So with that being said, I got some hiking plans coming up. Uh, at the end of May, the first weekend of June, I'm going to be doing a weekend warrior backpacking trip. Trying to still figure it out. I'm going to be taking a group out who's never backpacked, so that's going to be fun and interesting. Slow and steady is going to be the theme pretty much, so that way they get used to carrying a backpack full of gear, set up their tents and all that when we get to the place. But the place where we're going to go, which is great for beginners, um, the incline is about 1%, 5 miles one way in, several waterfalls next to her, just gorgeous scenery. After camp, you have options of going to a lake or a glacier, all this stuff. And just last month, the Fairfax Bridge to get to that part of Mount Rainier National Park, they closed the bridge down. So now I'm in a rut trying to find a panic to find a good place for beginner hikers. The good thing is the whole rainforest of the Olympic Mountains National Park is going to be opening up. So there's going to be a nice beginner trail over there I could take them on. Just the scenery won't be as gorgeous and as amazing as the one I had in mind. And that's a big part, especially for a first time backpacker, of the scenery and stuff that will get them hooked and going and stuff. Um, there's another trail that I have in mind that would be great scenery, but I won't know until June 1st of the trail conditions and stuff, because that's when the rangers and stuff will update on the trail conditions for snow depth, if there's all that stuff, the trail conditions. And it's high in elevation, but it'd still be a great beginner one. But unfortunately, all the way to the lake is all pure incline. There's no flat spot, so that kind of sucks. But I'm looking forward for that. So I'm hoping to get that the snow June 1st. The Rangers say it's good to go. I'm going to hit up the Rangers tomorrow actually to try to get it, see if they have any information as of now. I need to get the permits for it, but I think it's a first come first serve walk up permit type thing. You can't get it on rec.gov, so I'm going to try to get those here soon for that group and get going up there. I got a bunch of new gear that is coming in. So I'm usually a traditional backpacker. So when I mean traditional backpacker, I mean my weight of my packs are heavy. I'm still used to packing heavy gear that lasts from when I was in the infantry. And I trying to get out of that mindset. And as of when last year when I was out on trail, I was like, I really got to start reducing my pack weight. It is too heavy, too much. I think last year I weighed in a base weight of like 43 pounds. Yes, I said that. 43 pounds. Okay. Mm-mm. Yeah, we don't want 43 pounds, right? That's horrible. And then the year before that, I did a hike and I was at 53. 53. Wow. Talk about backbreaking, right? So this year, I was like, I'm going to reduce my weight. Got some gear coming in. Just ordered. It's supposed to be here Wednesday, which I'll probably do a video on it just because. And I know there's already 1,000 videos out there. But the Durston X Mid 2. Yes, the Durston Dome tent 2 just came out, I think last week. Was it last week or the week before? Or the orders you could take it in. Uh, I wanted it, but I know by the time my backpacking trips come up, I would not have it in the mail. So I just decided to order the Durston one. Just that alone is going to save me 3 pounds. I've been using the Kelty late start uh, tent with the footprint, and it comes out with the stuff sack, the rain fly, the poles, the stakes, uh, the footprint, all that stuff at a 5 pounds. And the Durston, I think, with everything, is going to come out to 2.3, 2.5, or something like that. Maybe 2.8. I can't remember. So that's going to save me several pounds there, at least 2.5 pounds. But we'll find out. Because I'm going to make the difference in weight and do that. So we can compare that. Uh, I have a 0 degree sleeping bag that I've been using for years by Teton, and I love it. It's a square one, but it is heavy, 5 pounds with the stuff sack. So that alone is going to save me because I just ordered me Enlightened Equipment Renegade quilt. So that's going to save me 3.5, 4 pounds alone right there on that as well. Changed out my headlamp that I carry with me on backpacking trips. I think the new one I got was a black diamond. The weight difference in that was like 6 ounce difference. Just upgraded my power bank that I use. The one I was using, heavy. Uh, but that alone, I think I'm saving another 7 or 8 ounces difference on that. So I'm gonna be saving a bunch of weight. Grams lead to ounces, ounces lead to pounds, right? And those are pounds that'll be off your back. That will slow you down, and you're able to pack a little bit more. So I can't wait to get that stuff in here. Once I get that all in there, I'm gonna do two different videos. Well, one video, but I'm gonna compare my old pack and everything I was packing in there with that and weigh it with all my new gear that I'm getting. I'm going to pack that into my pack and weigh it. I'm also thinking about upgrading my sleeping bags. Right now, I have a Sea to Summit Ether XT, Ether Light XT. sleeping pad. Well, not a pad, but you know what I mean. The blow up ones. But I may upgrade to that. Um, I was looking at new packs, but if I went to an ultralight pack, I need to have a base weight much lower than what I'm going to have. So I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Um, but we'll find out and all that. So I'm excited for all that gear change. It's really going to help me out on trail to get a little bit further out there, lay down more miles. So I did do two different day hikes in the last. I think I did an extremely short one last Saturday, which I was hoping to do 10 miles, but I didn't because of the snow. Uh, and then 2 weeks prior to that, I did another one that was fairly short distance, uh, just an out and back, easy. Even though it's a hike, it seemed like just a nature walk. Really, I like doing hikes or day hikes. Between 8 to 16 miles in one day. But here in Washington, the snow depth this winter was pretty good. So the snow level's been pretty low, deep still at low elevations. Um, but I went to Lake 22 a couple of weeks ago. Gorgeous hike. I love the hike. Uh, the snow melt was creating streams all along all coming down the trail actually, but the trail crews have been very active on this trail. You can tell the storms that came through kind of washed out a little bit of the trail, but they've repaired it all. They put new gravel in certain areas, cut up wood, creating some new bridges, reinforced some of that stuff, walkways, stairs, and all that stuff. So the trail crews out there have been very active, and to see this type work put onto this trail was kind of awesome, but surprising too for how much. But then when I pulled up, I got the trailhead to the parking lot at 7:30 in the morning. It was already full, not many left. I was like, oh my goodness, it's gonna be one of those trails, right? And I do not like hiking the super popular uh, busy trails. I just hate it because that usually means it's what I call city hikers are just want to like, oh, let's go do a hike, and they find a trail and they hit it up, and they have no respect for the trails. They definitely do not practice leave no trace, right? And then they get themselves in situations where sometimes search and rescue go out there because they just don't know what they're doing. So it was that busy when I got to the trailhead. I was like, okay, here we go. Started going on trail. I was liking it, loving it. The scenery is awesome. Trail was awesome. Uh, had some hikers not too far. Well, I'd say probably about a mile in. There was a bridge that went over the creek, and there was a nice little waterfall right there. But this bridge was no wider than shoulder width apart. So it's for one person going one way or the other, while hikers would have to wait on the opposite side if they were trying to come across, right? There was four of them, and they get to the center of the bridge, and then they stop. Well, I figure they're going to stop, take pictures. Wrong. Nope. Nah. Not these guys. They decided to start changing out their clothes, changing their pants to shorts, started eating and all that stuff. And I was like, really? Excuse me. Can you please get off the bridge? Do that before or after the bridge, not in the middle of the bridge where people, especially this popular of a trail where people got to cross. So, and they just sat there and looked at me knowing that I had to cross. So I just started pushing my way through them, and they did not like that. But you got to be respectful. You're not the only people out on trail, and you got to think before you do stuff like that, right? If you're going to do that, go out there, take your pictures of the scenery and stuff, especially the fall. It's perfect. And then move, get off the bridge, eat your food, drink your water, change, whatever you got to do. Just don't do it on the bridge, right? Come to find out, though, later on the trail, they end up passing me, and Two of the hikers out of the four, I guess, were experienced hikers, which they had decent packs and shoes, boots on and stuff. Stuff I look at is people hiking because I'm just curious what gear they have. And they were talking. The least experienced hiker in the group was asking questions, and I could hear them asking the questions, talking about gear, hiking, and all that. And I kind of gave a recommendation since they were within earshot as they were passing me, and the girl was like, "Oh, thank you very much for that. I'll look into it." I said, "You're welcome." And then so she asked her friend, and her friend was like, "Just ignore him," like, no, what you're recommending to her is not good, Um, and she should be doing that, but if she thought stopping in the middle of the on a bridge thought was a good idea, think twice, right? So as the trails start going on, more and more people are on trail, and as you started getting more elevation, the snow started to show up. I had my micro spikes. I was debating about pulling my micro spikes out, which I should have, because the snow it wasn't soft, so it was compact. It was probably about a foot worth of snow as you got halfway up, and it got slippery, and then it got very, very narrow. Talking about you were tight roping it through a section of it, and then on one side was actually, if you slipped and fell, you were going to slide down into the creek, and you weren't going to slide like a foot or two. You're going to slide at least 20, 30 feet and then into the creek, which was also extremely cold, right? People were not being respectful or courteous when it came. As you started hiking, if you were already crossing this one section and you had other people coming the other way, the least experienced hikers would actually try to start coming and thinking they were going to step off. You were going to step off. Like, there's nowhere to step out of the way. What are you doing? Now you got to turn around and walk back to where you were at and wait for me to finish going, because I've already was in the lane and advancing way before you even got here. And people were just getting upset over that. But these are the same people that were complaining that they had no water because they had no water bottles, they had no packs, they had nothing. They were cold. They were just complaining. I saw people just carrying regular coffee mugs for water. You know, I'm like, what are you guys doing? And it started making sense why I saw search and rescue by the trailhead, because these people are out here just not being smart while on trail and not bringing the 10 essentials or anything like that, and just creating bad situations. So when I finally got to the top, to the lake 22, the scenery was gorgeous. The lake, the drop back, the scenery in the back, the mountain, it was just awesome, right? It was great. The snow was probably about 2 feet deep, and it was very, still compact on top. But the amount of people, wow. That's all I can say is wow. Um, there was at least 100 people up there. But the thing is they kind of ruined the scenery of it. Rather than just talking amongst each other, uh, they were hollering, they were screaming, they were doing everything to just be annoying, really. And it sucked. It really did. Usually, when I get to my destination on a day hike, I will stop, eat lunch there, and all that, enjoy the scenery, and head back down. I got up there, walked around a little bit. I was like, I got to get out of here. I was like, I can't do this. There was a bridge up there, another bridge, where the lake drains into the creek. So you had to cross over that bridge, and people were just camping on that bridge too. So you were trying to weave in and out of all these people, just kind of get through and all that. And then once you did, you get to these other sections where you're crossing over the water by little tiny foot bridges and stuff that were just probably about 2 feet of snow on there. And once again, only wide enough for one person, but there's no railings on these little footbridges, and people were trying to squeeze by, and people were slipping and falling off. I'm like, why are you trying to force through a one person section and not wait for someone to finish coming all the way off that little bridge, you know? And that was resulting in people falling off. And it could have been eventually a dangerous situation, you know? Um, it was just bad. So I ended up leaving. Um, I'm just like, just thinking about it right now. I'm like, oh my God. And talking about it. So I follow watching hikers and climbers back on Facebook, and I just been noticing people's comments on there, just a bunch of complaints about Lake 22 as well. Um, and I find it funny. And as the weather gets nicer, it's just going to get more crowded up there and worse. On my way back down, I stopped counting at about 200 people on my way back down of people I crossed by. I was like, oh my God, this is bad. I knocked it off the bucket list though, because people kept asking me if I've ever done it. Okay, done it. Never do it again. And there's other trails up here like that. I won't ever do it again. Mountain Si. Once you get to the top, awesome views. Too many people. Rattlesnake Ledge. Mm-mm. That one, I stopped counting around 400 people. Uh, just too many. And then amount of dogs too that were off leash. Oh my God. People wonder why I always see these reports of dogs disappearing when they take them on the hikes when they're not on leash. Well, probably because they're out there running around and a cougar pounced on it and had a delicious meal. Uh, what's another one? Mailbox Peak. Awesome hike. You know, I like it, Mailbox Peak. It's great. Get to the top. The views are amazing and all that. But once again, just way too many people. And these are all the type trails that are so far from Seattle. So people that live in Seattle area just were like, oh, well, there's this trail down, you know, down this way. Let's just hit that up and do it. So they're off my bucket list. So I'll never do them again. So now the other one I just did, I was hoping to do about 10 miles on, but did not happen. I only did 3 miles round trip. So it was more of a nature walk. And that was Carter Falls up at Mount Rainier National Park. I got up there, scenery. As soon as you got out the car, the volcano, you know, was showing her head. Beautiful. You cross over the Nisqually River. Nice little bridge right there, and you look upstream, and the volcano lines up perfect with the river. Great picture opportunity. Bam! Oh my God, amazing. Um, what made this more enjoyable was the park was not, since it's still a lot of snow and stuff, and I think people are still got the hangover of the reservations from last year, which Mount Rainier hasn't implemented the reservation system yet this year. I don't know if you're going to or not, but I think the reason the park was not busy when I was there last weekend was because probably people were expecting that. Uh, so there was barely anyone on trail, and it was great. You know, it was enjoyable and all that. Unlike Lake 22 was not enjoyable. Back again, Lake 20, people were leaving their trash everywhere, toilet paper, dog shit bags, orange pills, all that stuff, wrappers. Oh my God, it was just a mess. But Carter Falls was nothing like that. So I started going up trail. Um, Using trekking poles. I'm not a trekking pole person, but I figured I'd try using my trekking poles. When I use trekking poles and stuff, my hands get super sweaty, and it's just I hate that feeling. So I started off with two, and then I put one in my pack and just went down to using one. Um, so that was kind of good. You know, I have nothing against trekking poles. They really do help. They do save on the knees and stuff. I think it's just something I got to get used to. So as I started going, my day pack. Now you're gonna laugh at me. It's a big day pack. It's a 30 liters. So I use the Gregory Zulu 30. Because I am actually a fairly big guy. A normal day pack, just too small for me. Just looks like this little tiny bag on my back. You know. So I decided to go with the Zulu 30. I like the nice low hip belt, so comfortable, pack's comfortable, and all that. I just heard this pink. I was like, "Hell was that noise?" And then I was looking around. And I noticed my shoulder strap started coming off my shoulder, and my sternum snapped on me on the weak side. I was like, "This sucks." Luckily, I carry a carabiner with me, so I was able to tie the sternum strap onto the carabiner, and I was able to clip it on around my shoulder strap to make everything tight again. I did not realize how much of a sternum strap really plays a role in making things feel more comfortable. But yeah, so luckily I had that carabiner and it made it tight again and it felt good. So I was able to keep going. Now the snow depth, my goodness, uh, right around 3,400, 500 feet elevation. Some spots of ice was showing up. I was thinking about grabbing the micro spikes. I was like, no, it's good. Kept going, made it to Carter Falls, gorgeous falls, awesome and all that. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to keep going now, because that was only like a mile and a half, 2 miles max in. And that is at elevation 3,600 feet or 3,660 feet elevation. 50 feet after that, the snow level really picked up. And that was elevation gain too, but not much, not much at all. Literally another 50 feet. So I think I was at, when I checked my uh, GPS and stuff, said I was around 3,700 feet. Boom, instant snow, about a foot deep. That's okay. I'm going to keep going a little bit. Uh, was about to grab the micro spikes, but unfortunately, the snow became soft and it was getting deeper. At 3,800 feet elevation, it was right around 2 feet deep of snow. Micro spikes ain't working in that. You need snowshoes for that. I started post holing. It was just way too soft, and it was just going to get deeper. And I looked up, and there was no trail. Period. It was just all snow. And unfortunately, I didn't have my snowshoes on me, so wasn't able to go much farther. I had to turn around. Which, if you go on YouTube, you can see the Carter Falls hike in the video and stuff in there, or you can go to. Uh, I was about to say Good Rose Adventures on Facebook, but it is now Toad Hikes on Facebook, and you'll be able to see the photos on there. Uh, it just got too deep for me, and I was like, "This is not gonna work." So I'm gonna have to turn around. Sucks because I really wanted to lay down at least 10 miles that day, but this, like I said, the snowpack this year was deep. So being low elevation like that, it was still quite a bit of snow. Uh, Hopefully, it starts melting out here soon at the lower elevations, uh, so we can keep going. I want to go back up there and redo that trail probably later on, probably in mid June. The snow will probably be gone by then, and then try to really lay down miles on that trail to see a lot more because it was a gorgeous trail, right around that stream and all that stuff. Came across Carter Falls, and right after that, there was another fall, just gorgeous. But on the trail, as I started really getting to that snow depth, because I was going to try to push on, I saw two sets of bear tracks. Of course, black bear. So I'm thinking probably one cub and the mom. But I was like, okay, they're heading the same direction and stuff. Probably a day old tracks. So, but at that point, I was like, yeah, I'm turning around anyway. Turned around, headed back down. But it was a gorgeous bluebird day. I was impressed. I was happy. Oh my god! And the scenery. Can't get enough of the scenery. Mount Rainier, being in my backyard like this, and that trail was actually the Wonderland Trail. So if I go back and want to do 10 miles on the Wonderland on that part, it's nothing because the Wonderland Trail is like a little over 90 miles, I think. But I'd build a hike from Longmire all the way up to Paradise, and that's kind of what I want to do. So that is about it. Well, actually, more about my Gregory's sternum strap. I left the trail and I went to REI, tried to see if they could do something for me because I bought it at REI. And the guy was pretty much like, nope, got to contact Gregory. So I contacted Gregory, sent them the pictures and stuff. And believe it or not, this week, they're sending me a new sternum strap. So I just got to learn to put that on myself. So my pack will be get back up and going. If I would have had that sternum strap yesterday, I probably would have been on trail yesterday doing another day hike somewhere. Uh, but no, but yeah, no. Thank you, Gregory, for getting that shipped out for warranty and stuff. And I can't wait to get it back on and start using this pack more. Um, but yeah, that was awesome experience. I loved it. All right, guys. So, like I said, hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Hope you guys enjoy all my social medias. So it's on, Facebook, Toad Hikes, Instagram, Toad Hikes, YouTube, Toad Hikes, podcast, Toad Hikes. What does not change it? The email though is still Good Rose Adventures at yahoo.com. So GOODROWS Adventures, ADVENTURES at Yahoo. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you'd like to hear me talk about, people you think I should interview, uh, anything, tell me I suck. You could troll me or whatever, or how you think I could improve on stuff. Please go ahead and shoot me a message via that email, or you could send me a message on Facebook, Instagram, anywhere like that. Um, I do engage with people. So if I'm not busy, I will. Um, but I'd love to hear from you guys and let me know what you guys think. All right, guys. Well, happy hiking.